Welcome, everyone. It is Michael here with Offshore Citizen, or rather, Lord Michael. I am here in Malta, and I'm here for a few days, partially to celebrate my birthday, and also partially to meet with some contacts. I was meeting with one of our Swiss bankers the other day, and as part of my birthday gift, my wife graciously got me a super fun gift, which is a Lord title. So, in case you guys aren't aware of this, you can go and purchase a small plot of land in Scotland, and as a result, through that process, you can get the glorious title of Lord. So I am now Lord Michael, which is great. Now, some people ask me, why do you do that? Is there some benefit? What is the tactical reason? No, guys, sometimes there is no grand strategy, no tactical thing. There's merely having fun, and so it's just purely a fun thing. Anyway, since we're in Malta, I figured I would walk around here a little bit. We're in Slima, which is kind of, I don't know, one of the more livable areas, I guess, fairly close to Valletta. And I would see if I could show you some, just some random streets and talk a little bit about what Malta is like. So we're going to discuss now what some of the pros and cons of Malta are. I'll explain a little bit about some of the pricing, some of the options in terms of tax and residency, and maybe it'll be something that you want to consider. I'll also talk a little bit about what some of the things that my clients and friends have experienced in terms of living here over a period of time. So we will dive into that right now. Before we do, as always, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the all notification bell. If you would like help with any of the things that we deal with here, which is global structuring, figuring out the best solution for you, getting residencies and citizenships, figuring out where to move, setting up companies, opening bank accounts, all that fun stuff to do with international, please reach out to us. You can book a call with me, calendly.com/Michael-Brosmer. There's a link in the description below. Or you can send a message through our websites, offshorecitizen.net and offshorecapitalist.com. Okay, so let's see. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Malta is both an EU country and a Schengen country. It is located, it's a small island just south of, that's kind of nice, just south of Italy. It has a population of about 500,000 people. It's fairly famous for the fact, let's see where we are. We're around sunset here, so maybe we can find a place near the water. I'm kind of in the middle of some random streets that I haven't been to before, so we'll see if we can navigate a little bit. Anyway, we will, so famous for their Citizenship by Investment program. It is the best official program in terms of kind of visa-free access you get. Pretty much the only one where you can get access to the US, etc. They've been under a lot of political pressure lately, so if it's something that, in fact, actually the EU just announced they are suing Malta over this, so we'll see how that goes. But if you want to proceed, you should probably proceed quickly because it may not be around. Now, talking to some officials, they say, oh, when the program's done, we're going to renew it, etc. And thus far, they have typically told people to go and, just screw off. But that being said, you can tell there's obviously pressure. I had a video a little while ago where I was interviewing some of the people from the program, and I can tell you kind of the comments beforehand, like, they don't really want to call it a Citizenship by Investment program. They want to, things like this. So anyway, if you're interested in that program, we helped a number of people do it, and would be happy to help you. But it's fairly expensive. Basically, you're looking at about 900 grand to do it. So pretty costly by the time you go through everything. But it's a lifetime investment, so it depends on how much the money is worth to you and your family long term, etc. Let's see, where are we going to go here? I think we will cross. So, yeah, that's the deal. The next thing is there's a lot of residency programs. There is an indefinite residency, which is one of the easiest ways to get permanent residency in the EU. That's very cool. Costs a bunch. It's basically a donation. Well, it definitely is a donation of the majority of the fees. But that being said, can reduce your time quite a lot and make it just really straightforward. So with the opportunity cost, maybe it works out okay for you in the right circumstances. If you don't want that, you can just do plain like annually renewed residencies. There's different ones for EU people versus foreign people. And so, you can kind of figure out accordingly. I'm a little bit lost here. Let's see. Get my bearings. I think we want to go this way. Okay. Yeah, so those are residence things. Now, it's noteworthy for very good tax treatment. So the way that it works is you have this remittance basis. So it's not remittance basis on capital income. So foreign capital gains you can actually remit, and non-capital gains, earned income from abroad. So foreign income not earned in Malta is not taxable if not remitted to Malta. So that's pretty good. There is a flat tax of 15,000 euros per year, and so that's kind of how they get you. But all things considered, better than a lot of things. So let's talk about what it's like to live in Malta. First of all, real estate prices. It's about 6,000 euros per square meter right now, approximately. Obviously, depending on what you're buying and where you're buying it and things like that. But yeah, that gives some idea. It is great weather, so that's positive. Most places are fairly small, although you can get some reasonably sized places in Malta for sure. There is quite a lot of cuisine, actually. There's a great place I was at the other night, a Michelin-rated restaurant called Ion Harbor, or Ion Harbor, or by the harbor, something like that, in Valletta. She also happens to be on the best hotel in the country. So if you're into food, they have quite tasty options. They're very creative. There's this really interesting thing where they had wine, which had been converted into like a gel, which layered on top of some cheese. So very, very cool. Not something you see everywhere, and that's great. But they also have tons of other options. I mean, most of the types of stuff you would want, they have, but with a bias towards certainly Mediterranean style cuisine. So that's something. As I said, weather is great for most of the year. It's probably one of the best places in the EU weather-wise. The big criticism of it is that there's just not that much to do. I mean, it's a small island with 500,000 people. Yes, there's a bunch of tourists. You have beaches, etc. I have some good friends who live here who more or less typically tell me, if you don't learn to sail or do something on the water, you're going to be bored out of your mind. My wife has relatives here, so they've lived here for all their lives, and they find things to do that create some interest for them. But yeah, in general, that's the main complaint, I would say. My experience generally with people is that a lot of people move here, very few people stay here. So it's kind of an indicator. Some people complain about the traffic. I actually don't find the traffic too bad. I find that it's generally pretty bearable. We are out at the sea now. There you go. So yeah, I think if I was to compare it to other places to live, maybe I'll go through and I'll do a review at some point in time comparing Malta to Montenegro, Malta to Cyprus, Malta to some of these other places. For whatever reason, I think I generally, probably for my own taste, would prefer it to Cyprus, in part because of the fact that it's frankly just the density means that it's easier to get to different things. You can pretty much walk around to pretty much everything you want. However, I find that in practice, people who move to Cyprus seem to like it more and stay there longer term. So that's a useful, I think, data point. But that might be because they know what they're getting themselves into as well. So you can kind of see accordingly. What else is there that I can tell you? Actually, healthcare here is alarmingly good. Education is also alarmingly good. So I think in both of those regards, if you have a family, it's probably quite strong. I'm pretty impressed. I was talking to some teachers, and they have things being taught like growth mindset and mindfulness and all kinds of stuff in some of these schools, which is pretty progressive, pretty ridiculous for what I would expect in a lot of schools. And so that's also pretty good. Economically, people do fairly well. The culture has become much more diverse. Where do I go here? I'll go this way. yeah, the culture has become much more diverse. A lot of people have come. I talked to some people who moved here for work, and they commented that it's much easier to relocate here than to some other places. And so I think that's useful for people who want job opportunities. They actually have their own language, which is Maltese, which is very similar to Arabic, but by and large, everything is English. And in fact, there's a lot of people who don't speak Maltese, although there are the occasional person, not that you're likely to run into, but there is the occasional person who only speaks Maltese and not English. So anyway, that is a basic overview of Malta. I think for the right person, it's a good place to come. They have really attractive rules in terms of how much time you need to spend here per year, which is beneficial. And so, yeah, if you have questions about it, you can put them in the comments below. Let me know. If you would like help to relocate here, let me know. Just a note, forming companies, super bureaucratic, very big pain, and quite expensive. And banking, as I've mentioned in some previous videos, is a total disaster. Anyway, let me know, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.